Our next guest is using food and cookies to create courage with a cause with the goal of helping to end human trafficking 1 dozen at a time. Rachel Bieber is the founder of Food and Courage, and she joins us with more details to share. Welcome, Rachel.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're happy to have you on. And Rachel, tell us, why did you start Food and Courage?
I started Food and Courage, my cookie company, from a place of seeing larger problems in the world that I wanted to be able to have influence to help fix. So I learned what sex trafficking was when I was pretty young. And as time went on, I wanted to be able to use the gifts and talents that are in my hands to be able to create sustainable ways to help end that issue.
And how were you able to grow the business to what it is today?
Yeah, so I started this cookie company out of my apartment in San Francisco, and I made sample boxes, and I just began to cold pitch the cafes that were closest to me, and that's how I started to get my first sales, and I started to scale to larger tech companies. And when COVID hit, I learned a lot about how to scale a company. So now we have the ability to mass produce, and we do a lot of executive gifting. So we've packaged our cookies beautifully in these lovely tubes, and we've pivoted a bit to be a bit healthier. So they're gluten-free, dairy-free, and they're made with all natural sugars. So because it's a complex sugar, not a simple sugar, it's actually very good for you. It's very helpful and healthy to your body. And that's how we've mass produced.
And you've definitely come a long way since starting at your apartment in San Francisco to where you are now. What does it mean to be an entrepreneur in 2022?
Being an entrepreneur is constantly asking myself, how can I serve the people that I'm selling to better? How can I constantly market better and pivot with the times and pivot with the pandemic, and always being ready to kind of take another blow and just letting every punch just teach you a lot, and constantly pivoting and learning and growing.
And your sweet treats there, cookies with a cause. How does your business raise awareness on human trafficking?
Yeah, so sex trafficking is a really hard conversation to have. It's something that's really hard to talk about. It's not a pretty thing. So there's 2 million kids being sex trafficked, and that's not including adults. That's not all of human trafficking. That's just children. There's about 4 times the amount of adults. So part of what we do is we just start the conversation. I found that it's easier to talk about really hard topics if there's food. Specifically, a cookie is, a fun, easy icebreaker to start a hard conversation. In addition to that, we donate 10% of all proceeds to practically help end sex trafficking to organizations that have very different gifts and talents than myself, in order to create sting operations to actually get the kids out of these situations. Or we partner with Thorn, who creates technology online to be able to scan the dark web and be able to identify the victims in the situations.
I think it's great that you've used your business to help create awareness around human trafficking. What was your passion and drive behind wanting to combine the two? Your passion for sweets and then getting the word around and creating awareness and helping end human trafficking?
I'm a strong believer that, everyone has gifts and that they can easily fuel our passions. So one day when I realized that my ability to just do walks to raise awareness or to donate a little bit of my own salary wasn't as much as I wanted to contribute, I really looked around my home and I asked, what's in my hands that I can contribute to society. And I saw flour and I saw sugar, and I'd had years of culinary experience and training at this point, about 10 years. And cookies are something that are, mass producible. You can create a good profit margin. And from there, you have the ability to donate a lot of your funds. And in addition to that, create a brand that spreads a lot of awareness. So that's how they partnered.
Alrighty, and how can people get their hands on your cookies and help give back?
So you can buy cookies at foodandcourage.com. You can buy just a couple tubes for yourself over our e-commerce, but like I mentioned, we also do a lot of mass executive gifting. So there's also order forms to put in much larger orders for whatever sort of holiday or conference needs that you have for your company.
Perfect. Well,
And
thank
that's
you so much for joining us this
www.foodandcourage.
morning. I'm going to let our viewers know where they can go for more information. For more on these special cookies, visit foodandcourage.com.